You'll hear an interview with a woman called Hannah Romero, who takes photographs of waterfalls. For questions 9 to 18, complete the sentences. You now have 45 seconds to look at part 2.
Pause the recording for 45 seconds. You'll need to play the recording twice.
In this part of the programme, I'll be talking to Hannah Romero, whose hobby is photographing waterfalls. Tell us, Hannah, when did it all start?
Well, I went on a school trip to the mountains, 10 or 15 miles from here. I must have been nearly 13 at the time, and we followed a river up a valley through the forest. Even though it was summer and it hadn't rained much, there were still several quite big waterfalls. There was something magical about them, and I just had to get some pictures. So, on the way back down, I did.
So you had your camera with you?
No, I didn't actually own one then. I was going to use a friend's, but my teacher had a better one, so I borrowed hers instead. Later, she emailed the photos to me, and I saw how every waterfall was quite different from the others. They're incredibly beautiful things, and since then I've photographed hundreds.
And that was in the summer. Is that the best time to take photos of waterfalls then?
Probably not. Later in the year you've got the lovely autumn colours, and winter scenes with half-frozen rivers can be wonderful, but spring, with the rivers and streams full of water from melting snow, is definitely my favourite. In general, the more water, the better, which excludes the summer months, really.
I imagine a waterfall must look fantastic when the sun is shining there.
Actually, that has the effect of making everything around it look dark, so it's not a good idea to take a picture of one when it's sunny. In cloudy weather, you can see the colours of the countryside much better, and the whole scene has a kind of mysterious beauty.
Which kind of waterfall do you think is the most impressive?
I love huge falls like Iguazu or Niagara, of course, but they've been photographed millions of times. So for my own pictures, I particularly like those where the stream or river crashes down onto rocks, sending spray all over the place, rather than the type where the water pours straight down into a pool.
So when you find a waterfall you like the look of, what do you do?
Well, I begin by taking some photos from a distance and then move gradually closer. That's particularly important in winter because if you leave footprints in the snow, it can really spoil the scene.
Do you always try to leave the place exactly as you find it?
Oh, yes. You mustn't leave anything there. And I certainly wouldn't move any natural things like logs or branches, though of course you should always get rid of any rubbish you might find there for the good of your picture and the environment.
And what angle do you prefer for your photos?
It depends on the kind of waterfall. If the river is flowing over a relatively short drop, I prefer to take them from the side. But for really high ones, shots from below or even from the top can be wonderful.
Taking pictures from above can't be easy.
No, and there's a temptation to take risks when you're trying to get that perfect shot, and on wet rocks that can be dangerous. So my advice is to remember that what matters more than anything is your safety, not the skill you show in taking the shot, or even the expensive camera you have with you.
So what, for you, are the best waterfall shots?
Unexpected ones. I once saw a branch go over a waterfall in Russia with a small bird standing on it, but I wasn't ready and I missed that. But one I did get was of a huge fish jumping straight up through the white water in a Canadian river. That picture's now on my living room wall.
That's the end of part 2. Now turn to part 3.